Hi, my name is Suman. Welcome to Code and Play. Um, Last month I was a bit busy, so I couldn't make any videos. Um, I apologize for that. So today, let's continue with the video. Today I'm going to show you about rectangles. So what is a rectangle? A rectangle is, if you take a mathematical definition, a rectangle is a, can we call it a square that doesn't whose diagonals doesn't um, stay parallel to each other. Is that the equation or whatever? So basically, rectangles are used for making geometrical shapes in any mathematical equations. So basically, rectangles in Java are also used to make simple geometrical shapes. Okay, a rectangle could be anything. It could be a square which has equal sides, or it could be a rectangle that has unequal sides. Okay, maybe the opposite sides are parallel to each other, right? So in these kind of things, rectangles are used to make geometrical shapes. In Java, we are also going to use rectangles to draw geometrical shapes on our windows. Now, why am I talking about rectangles and math and everything? See, this is a very interesting topic. Most of the game developers who are working in game engines, right? You should know a concept called shape. Okay, so if you're talking about game engines, there is a class called shape. This shape class is an abstract class for all the shapes like circles, rectangles, and squares. Okay, so all types of squares, rectangles, circles, all of these are called shapes. In game engines, we use this class to create these objects in our game. Understood? Whereas in Java, we use rectangles, and there is also one more class called ellipse. This is in Java 2D. If you're interested in Java 2D, you can learn Java 2D, but ellipse is a class which has some more functions to show ellipses, circles or ellipses. Okay, this is in Java 2D package, right? So let's move on. So why are we talking about these structures, shapes, circles, and all these things? So the reason I'm talking about all these things is because I want to show bars, specifically health bar, mana bar, XP bar, so and so. Understood? So when I want to show bars in my game, I'm going to use these shapes. Now, when I want to use shapes, I have to understand that in Java, we also have a shape class. It is also from Java 2D. If you are interested, you can learn this package. But if you're not interested, you can just use regular rectangles in Java, which we are getting from Java.AWT. Okay, Java.AWT is the default package for drawing graphics in Java. So if you want to use this, you can use this. But if you want to learn more, like going into graphical design and architectural design using Java, then you can go into Java 2D package. This is a very elaborate package only specifically for Java 2D graphics. So if you're not interested in that, it's fine. It's okay. But just know that there is a package called Java 2D, which you can which you can learn in Java to draw graphics. Okay, you can search this. You can search this in Google, like Java 2D API, and you will get the required classes, programs, and everything. And all of this is already in Java installed in Java by default. You don't have to install anything new. Okay. Java 2D API uses Java FX package. If you know about Java FX, that is fine. If you don't know, that is also fine. But Java FX package is a package that is given in Java. Whenever you're installing your JDK, it will be predefinedly installed in the JDK. Okay, so this is the Java 2D API. If you want to learn more about animations, drawings, 2D graphics, 3D graphics, you can learn Java 2D API. I think you can use Java 3D. I mean, you can use 3D graphics, but it is not that good in Java 3D. Java 2D is not good in 3D, but you can do a lot of 2D animations using Java 2D API. Okay, so shape is a class in Java 2D API as well. And in some game engines like Unity, Unreal, we also have a shape class that is an abstract class for all these shapes. Okay, now why am I talking about all this? Because I said I want to show bars, health bar, mana bar, XP bar, or if you want to show any progress bar, like you are crafting something and you want to show that it is crafting slowly, like there is a timer that is going on, progress that is going on. Or you want to show a city building game where you are building something and it is taking time, so you want to show those bars as well. So for those we are using these classes. Understood? Now let's see how we can use these classes. Not all of this, I'm going to use rectangles. Let's keep it simple for now. Okay, so let's use rectangles and make these in our game. Also you will be using I think it is prefabs. Yeah, you will be using prefabs if you are talking about game engines. And yeah, it requires a coding, little bit of programming as well, but it's fine. So let's talk about rectangles in Java code. Now for this I'm going to show you I'm going to use Java Swing for now. Okay, so let's make a new class, new project. Java rectangle demo. Now when you're creating a project, you always have to keep in mind whether you are using frames, I mean JFrame or swings, AWT, things like that. You don't need this file. Okay, you don't need this module.java actually. So how to remove this file? It's very simple. When you are making a new project, there is a option at the bottom. Just tick this off and it will not generate. It is basically a kind of repository, a list of repository kind of thing. Those who are using Git or Maven, you understand what I'm talking about. So it's kind of a like what do you call it, dependency manager, like that. Okay, it's not needed for Java swings or AWT applications, so we can just tick this off and create a new project. And if you by default made a project and now you want to remove it, just delete this. It is fine. It is not needed. You can just delete this. Okay, gone. Now so let's make a class. Here we call this as launcher class, and I'm going to use converts1.game. Yeah, go to the package manager. Yeah, so here we have the src package launcher. So in this launcher I'm going to use main, right? Let's increase this font size a bit. Okay, So new launcher, or we can also just directly use the Swing util. Since I'm going to use Swing utilities in my program, I'm going to make drawings in Swing. So I'm going to use this nomenclator, new action listener. Sorry, new runnable. Right. So here I'm going to say jframe param equal to new jframe, and yeah, I'm using rectangle class, which is a part of Java.AWT. Let me show you that. Import Java.AWT dot, and when I say geom, here it is. So this is the geometric class that has all the geometrical shapes. So if you want to see that, you can see what shapes we have here. We have arc 2D, cubic curve, ellipse 2D. This is the Java 2D API that I was talking about. Okay, line 2D. We have path 2D, point 2D, quad curve, rectangle, rectangular shape, round rectangle. So we have a lot of 2D shapes that we can draw, and we can also use matrix multiplication and manipulations to shift the positions. So you can see what is given here. Okay, so if you are talking about 2D rectangles, 2D shapes, 2D graphics, this is the package that we are going to use, geom. Okay, Java 2D. This is Java 2D. Right now I'm just using rectangle. I don't need Java 2D for this, but I'm just using rectangle. So if I use rectangle, let me show you what is a rectangle. Rectangle is a class that has some, okay, here. Okay, rectangle is a class that has some specific predefined functions. Okay, so these functions are used, it will be important for us to use in Java graphics when you're drawing graphics in Java. And we can also use round rectangle. It's also a round rectangle. It is nothing but a rectangle with rounded borders, nothing else, just a simple rectangle with rounded borders. And rectangle 2D is kind of different. It is 2D rectangle which has width, height. You can see that. Okay, so I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use Java 2D API right now. So I'm just going to use normal rectangles. And we can draw graphics using rectangles. Remember this. This is not a component. This is a tool. Okay, let me show you the difference between some things in Java. People who are learning Java, they might get confused because of this. Rectangles, classes, and all this. Let me clarify this properly. So Java.AWT, okay, or Java Swing, these two are packages specifically used to design GUI. These packages have container. We call this container classes. What are these classes do? These classes are the window that you are looking at. For example, this notepad that I am looking at is the container class. Okay, the containers here are frame or JFrame in case of Java Swing, and if you are using panel or JPanel in case of Swing, and dialog box or JDialog in case of Swing. So these three are the containers. Remember this. People who are learning Java as a beginner, you might get confused by things like content pane. There is a function called get content pane. Most of the people have seen this program like this: get content pane dot something something, like add. Okay, so this is a function or a method inside the container. So what I'm talking about is, you see this at the top we have untitled notepad. and these minimize, maximize, and close buttons, as well as this entire view, the entire view that you're looking at is the frame. Okay, so the frame starts from this icon, this title, and including these functions. That's it, nothing else. This is called a scroll bar, this is called menu, and this is called status bar. All of these are actually components. They are different. Container classes are different, components are different. Okay, components could be text field or JText field in case of Java Swing. Okay, if you're using Swing, just put J in front, that's it. So if you are talking about components, we have scroll pane. Okay, we have menu bar. Okay, we also have pop-up menu, like this. This is a pop-up menu. When you right click it, it happens. Okay, in some games like RuneScape, when you right click on an object, a small pop-up menu will open up. In some games like Diablo or any other games, when you right click on the ground, the character will move. So right click is not always pop-up menu, it is different. You can show or you cannot show. Maybe you don't want to show pop-up menu, just want to move the character, it is also fine. Or in some games you want to move the camera around with the pop-up menu instead of pop-up menu, you can also do that. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. For the beginners in Java, you should know that what you're looking at, this entire frame that I'm talking about, is the container. And this menu bar, the scroll bar, the panel that I'm writing on, the status bar, all of these are part of the content pane or content pane. Okay, so when I say get content pane, I'm talking about inside the container class, not the container itself. The container itself is this. If you are adding something onto the container, it means we are adding everything onto content pane. Okay, when I say here, when I write like this, let's say jpanel pnl equal to new jpanel. Okay, so when I say frm.add panel, it doesn't mean that I'm adding the panel to the frame. It means I'm adding the panel to the content pane of the frame. So what should I do actually is this: frm.getContentPane. Okay, see, get content pane. Okay, dot add panel. This is what I should do. But in Swings, by default, all the components that you are adding to the frame are directly added to the content pane. If you are using AWT, then you must use this. Okay, if you're not using AWT, we don't need this. This is why I'm using Swing. Swing is more flexible in case of designing components. Okay, AWT is having a lot of graphical drawing tools, but Swing is much more easier to work with. Next, now these are called components, these are called containers. Now basically these components and containers are static. What do I mean? I mean they don't have any animation. If you want to do any animation, or if you want to make a text glow, like a glowing text, when you open the app, you should see a glowing text, or you should see an image slowly fading in, fading out, or there should be a marquee text that moves from right to left or left to right. Okay, so these kind of animations are not available in these classes. So this is why they are called static classes or static designs. So to make those dynamic designs, we need tools. This is different from components. Components are static. Once you show a scroll pane, for example, this is a scroll bar, right? When I leave this scroll bar here, is there any animation going on? Nothing, no animation going on. When I click this, you see it is moving up and down. This is called animation. So in these kind of animations, we need to change the state of these components. So to change the state of these components, we need tools. Okay, what tools do we have? We have paint component, or we can say we have graphics class. Graphics class is a predefined class in Java to draw graphics. If you don't want to use graphics, maybe you want to have better graphics. Let's say you want to have anti-aliasing or better shader, better what we call this, the graph vectors. If you want to use vectors in your program, or if you want to use ray casting, things like that, then we need graphics 2D. So this is a Java 2D class. This Java 2D class or Java 2D API is having better performance than our regular graphics class. So these are tools. Okay, the same way we also have rectangle, we also have ellipse 2D, actually ellipse 2D. We also have a lot of 2D APIs. Okay, so this is called as tools. These are tools. These have animations. We can have these classes, we can use these classes to make animations. For example, you want to draw an image. So what do is we first of all take a graphics class and we say let's say graphics G. It is like this: graphics G equal to panel pnl.get draw graphics. Okay, so I say G dot draw image. Now what is the image X position and Y position, width and height? And also if you want to like scale the image, we can give scaled width and scaled height. Okay, and we can also have a observer. So observer is not needed, but if you want to give, you can give. It is just a customary class, not important. Okay, so we can just give null, or basically it's basically an observer class. Observer class means parent class where it is drawn. Okay, this is called a image class, image drawing tool. So this tool is available in graphics class. The same way we also have graphics 2D that has even better drawing graphics. We can also have frame animations. We can have things like multiple fade effects, transitions, or skew effects, like this. Okay, we have a lot of things that we can do with these tools. Remember, these are different. These are different. Components are not tools. They are different. They are static. They're fixed. Once you show the component on the panel, it is fixed. But tools are used to draw animations. So these are tools. Okay, those who are like new to the Java concept, those who are learning these concepts, you don't have to learn all of this. Just you learn these two: container classes and components, and you can make your applications. But if you want to like learn even 2D graphics or 3D graphics in Java, then you need to have a knowledge of tools. And as I said, content pane, this get content pane was the default content pane that you have to add, that you have to use if you are using AWT. But if you're using Swing, by default everything is added onto the content pane, so we don't need to have this code directly in the code. Okay, So we don't need to write frame dot get content pane dot add dot. No, we don't need to write all this. Simply say frame dot add panel. That's enough. Okay. Now we can use these tools to draw graphics. That's what I said. So what if I want to draw the graphics directly on the frame? Can we do that? Yeah, we can do. We have a class, we have a function called paint component. Okay, Java uses this function, this method, to draw graphics onto a container. So if you are showing a menu bar, it is actually drawing it. Okay, it is actually drawing the menu bar for you onto the container classes. But if you want to use this method on your own, then you can do that. So this is what I'm saying. These are tools. These are not components. These are tools. Tools to draw or tools to do some work. These are different. Frame.set visible to frame.set location relative to null to center the frame, so that the frame looks at the frame will be appearing at the center of the screen. Frame.set default close operation. Frame.exit.close. Right? So these are the components. So once you execute this, you will see a frame. Right? Now I'm going to add a panel which is called board equal to new board. So this is the panel which I'm going to add. Frame.add b and frame.pack. Pack is a function that is going to squeeze the width and height of the frame to the panel itself. So for example, this is a panel. Okay, this panel has been added to the frame. The frame itself doesn't have any width and height. So what is going to do? It is going to stretch and squeeze itself to the width and height of this board, or to the width and height of this panel. So if I give 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels, the frame will be exactly 1000 pixels. I don't have to give the size for this frame because it is by default added to the frame. Let's see. So here I'm going to make a new class called board. This new class is going to have function extends jpanel, right? And here I say get preferred size, this. So instead of super preferred size, we simply say new dimension, some width 800 by 600, right? Now you might have a question like, why not set size? This is also doing the same thing. Why not set size? Why always preferred size? Well, preferred size and size have different concepts. Preferred size basically means you are preferring your preference is 800 by 600. If you are showing the video, if you're showing the window on a bigger resolution screen, for example, my resolution here is 1360 by 768. This is the biggest resolution on this laptop. If I'm using a bigger screen that have like better graphics, bigger resolutions, then it is going to expand the frame to like relative 800 by 600 pixels. Okay, in this case I'm not setting the size exactly to it. I'm saying preferably this much. If it is like, if the pixel size is small, then it will all automatically squeeze the window size to small. What I'm talking about pixel size here is, for example, In LCD screens, the pixel size is very big. So in this case, your dimensions will be 800 by 600, which means it will be expanded throughout the whole screen. In LEDs, you have a pixel size is very small. The pixel size of LEDs is very small. So in that case, your screen will be very small. So this is why I'm saying I'm preferring this much. It could be relative to the monitor that you are using. Okay, if you're using LCD monitor, it's a different size. If you're using LED monitor, it's a different size. So even though they're having similar resolution, they look different. The resolution is different because the pixel size is different. Right, so this is why I'm saying preferred size. So it will automatically adjust to the monitor that you are showing it on. Okay, these are things that you will learn as you start making games or start making apps. Okay, the more you practice, the more you learn, and the more you understand things. This is what we call as experience, gaining experience. Most of the companies nowadays are asking experience to beginners, and beginners doesn't have any work. So if you don't have any work, you won't get experience. This is how you get experience. You make your own projects, you make your own portfolio. Okay, I'm not saying make games. I'm saying do something. Make an app, make a game, make a software. Okay, so by doing this, you understand these things. So these are the more intricate things in a application. All right, so here we have this code which is running the program, and yeah, this is running the program, this is also running the program. Now when I execute this, you will see a white frame. This is the white frame. Okay, so but I want to show rectangles. As I said, I want to show rectangles. Rectangles are drawn onto the panel using paint component because it is a tool, it is not a component. If you are using components, they are predefinedly given, but in a tool's case, you have to do it manually. So how do we do that? We go to the paint component function, and here it is, graphics G. So it is by defaultly inheriting the graphics class. Now here we should keep this line. Okay, paint component, super.paint component must be kept. Some people remove this line. It is not advised. The reason is I'm going to show you now why it is not advised to remove that line. I'm going to show it now. See, g dot set color dot black. Okay, g dot draw rectangle. As you can see, there are 3D rectangles as well as arcs, images, all of these are there. So if you're talking about, if you think that Java doesn't support 3D, then think again. There is 3D rectangle here, right here. So if I'm using 3D codes, I can also use polygons. So Java itself has polygons, quadrilaterals, rectangles, a lot of things. Okay, so I'm going to use the Java rectangle, draw rectangle code. Okay, let's say I'm using 10, width is 30 or 50 by 50. So this is a square. Okay, so since the width and height is same, it is a square. If I have more width, then it is a rectangle. So let's see how it looks like. There it is, the rectangle. Now when I talk about rectangles, I said we should not remove this line, right? Why? Now I'm going to show you. So when you're drawing something onto the screen, it is drawn from a thread. That thread is called EDT, Event Dispatch Thread. In Swing, all the drawings are drawn from EDT. So whatever you are doing here in this paint component will be drawn multiple times onto the screen. So what if I want to move this rectangle from x position to some another x position? Let me show you. Private int x, x equal to 10, and here I give x. So now it will be drawn exactly in that position, x equal to 10. Now to show you properly, I'm going to increase the stroke width. G dot set stroke. Oh, there is no stroke in this concept. Yeah, there is no stroke here. So let's import our graphics 2D class. Graphics 2D. Graphics 2D. G. Okay, so this graphics 2D will have stroke. G2, G2, G2. G2 dot set stroke. Yeah, new basic stroke. I'm giving 5 pixels. So 5 pixels width, and you can see this is the rectangle. Okay. So now when I want to move the rectangle from X position to Y position, or X position X1 to X2 position, let's say I want to move the rectangle from 10 to 20. What is it going to do here? It is going to remove the previous rectangle and draw a new rectangle at 20. Okay, it just moved a little bit. Let's move it at too much. Let's give it some 200 pixels. Let's see. Okay, now it is moving. So this is called illusion of moving. This is how we draw animations. We are moving the frame. I mean, we are moving the object on the frame pixel by pixel. Okay, but this is not how I should move. I should move it like 10 pixels. So in that case, I have to say let's start with that 10, and every time the frame should update and it should move the pixels by 10. So paint component only works what we are like paint component only draws once. That means whatever I gave here, it will be drawing it exactly over and over. It will not update itself. Paint component doesn't update itself. It is only drawing the same component over and over and over. It is not updating itself. So to update itself, we need to have a thread. Or in Swing, I'm going to use private timer. This is a timer class in Swing that is going to update the thread. Okay. So in game thread equal to new timer, in this we are going to say I'm going to update it 60 fps, which is 16 ms milliseconds, and new action listener. Okay, new action listener, update this by calling it repaint. So repaint this every time. Now it is going to update itself automatically. Basically, paint component only draws the same component once and repeats the same drawing over and over and over. It never updates. So to update it, we are going to use a timer. Now I'm going to make a separate function here called public void start game, and game thread dot start. Right, so start game thread start. So now we go to the launcher. Here I say b dot start game. Nice. So now we have start game, and once I execute this, you will see it is updating, but it is not moving because I didn't move the component. So let's move the component. X plus equal to 10. Now when I move the component, you will see that there is no trail behind the component. It is just moving like this. And now you will see why I said this. We shouldn't remove this line. Why? Because now you will see why. You see, this is why I'm saying we shouldn't remove that line. The reason why, because this line is going to update the frame every time by clearing the previous frame. So when you say super.paint component, it clears whatever the drawn before this frame. So if you draw something at x equal to 10, it will be removed and x equal to 20 will be drawn. If you don't call this, this is what happens. You will have a trail of rectangles through the screen. Why it happened? Because you forgot to call this component. So now it will execute properly. Right. Now you can also make it smooth by removing by actually running on a specific fixed FPS. Okay, it's a kind of fine-tuning kind of thing. Let's move on. Yeah, so here I said I want to draw rectangles, but rectangles are not drawn like this. The rectangles are drawn like this. So whenever you want to draw a rectangle, we say rectangle R1. Okay, R1 equal to new rectangle. Here we have. So this is what I'm talking about. New rectangle, x, y, width, height. So x is 10 or x is x, y is 10. Width I'm saying 150 and height I'm saying 150. Let's make it square. Okay, so this is our rectangle. Now when you want to draw this, just simply g2 dot draw shape. You can see the shape class, shape S. Okay, so this is a shape class that is from Java 2D. Since I'm using graphics 2D, so I'm using Java 2D kind of thing. So here we say R1 and it will execute. There it is. And why is it not moving? Because I am updating X. I'm not updating rectangle.x. So when I update R1.x, now it will move. Okay, so now we are doing everything on the rectangle, not on the value here. So this is the difference between using a normal, drawing a normal rectangle and using a rectangle class. Okay. Now let's draw some bars. I said we can use this rectangle to draw bars: health, mana, XP, progress. You can draw a lot of bars using rectangles. So let's draw some rectangle bars. Okay, to draw that I'm going to have to make it look like a rectangle. So first of all I'm going to say this is width 100, height 20. Okay, so now we have a small rectangle which is moving. We don't need this move, right? We don't need to move this. Now it is fine. So that is the rectangle. Let's improve this by saying 250 and yeah, so that's our health bar. I want another rectangle which is R2 and R3. R2 and R3. So X is same, Y is 50, this is 100. Now we just have to draw these three rectangles. So G2 dot draw R2 and G2 dot draw R3. And here we have three rectangles. Right. So that's 40, then this is 90. Alright, so these are three rectangles. Now, when I want to draw something inside the rectangle, I just have to draw fill. Instead of draw, I have to say fill. So when I say fill, it will fill the rectangle. Let me show you this. Okay, so it fills the rectangle. Instead of draw, we can use fill. There it is. And if you want to use rounded rectangles, then what? Well, rounded rectangles are also similar. Round rectangle 2D. Rounded rectangles are also similar. We can use rounded rectangle 2D, or we can just use this. Okay, so instead of fill, I'm going to say g2 dot fill round rectangle. Fill round rectangle. So here I'm going to say r1 dot x, this r1 dot y, this r1 dot width, r1 dot height. Here these are the arc width and arc height. Basically how much curvature you want on the rounded rectangle. So let's give 20 by 20. Let's see what happens. So you can see it is curved. Okay, you can play with these values. You can play like 20, 50. You'll get a different kind of, slightly different. Since the height is very small, so it is not showing properly. 50, 8, 4, 8. So okay, so you can play with these values. Since the height is very small, I'm not going to show too much values. It's going to show 10, 10. This will give me a small slight curve on the edges. If you want these smooth edges, if you want smooth curve edges, then you can say g2 dot set rendering hints dot key anti-aliasing, rendering hints dot value anti-alias on, and now you will have smooth edges. Okay, it looks very small. Let's do 100. Let me show you how it looks like. Okay, I guess you can see the curvature here. Where is this? Okay, 100, 100. Now you'll see the curved rectangle. Okay, so this is what called rounded rectangle. So rounded rectangles are basically curved rectangles. You can curve them at the edges. Remaining everything is same. 20. So this is our curved rectangles. If you want to use these, then I would suggest that you should use anti-aliasing, or it doesn't look nice. Okay, if you want to use rounded rectangle, you should use anti-aliasing, or it might not look nice. You will be seeing pixelated things if you don't use anti-alias. And when you're using anti-aliasing, always remember your graphic card will be like taking too much power. So if you don't want to put too much load onto graphic card, then don't use this. Okay, we can do the same thing with normal rectangles, but this is just a little bit more code. Everything is same, just a little bit more code, nothing else. I'm going to use that. The remaining R2, R3 are normal rectangles. Now, how do I want to show? How can I show health bar? Health bar is basically red. So let's set a color here. G2 dot set color. Color dot red. And G2 dot fill rectangle. Fill round rectangle. Same. R1 dot X. I just copy and paste this thing. Okay, so first this part, this basic stroke is 5. We don't need basic stroke actually, because all are just filled, so we don't need basic strokes. Yeah, so that's our health bar. Then we also need mana bar, which is g2 dot set color, color dot cyan g2 dot fill r2. So now we have cyan, and the last one g2 dot set color dot yellow, and g2 dot fill r3. This will give us the XP bar. So these are the three bars that we are going to show in our program. You can also decorate this, but let's move on. The concept is very interesting here. See, we drawn these bars using rectangles. Now the concept is, how are we going to update this? What do I mean by that? I mean, when you are in the game, when you are playing the game, you will be using magic spells, or you will be getting hit. So in that case, the width of this rectangle must get down and up. When you are getting hit, it will go down. When you are getting healed, it will go up. So how do I do that? How do I update these values at runtime? Okay, so to see that, let's add a mouse listener. I'm going to use a mouse listener to show you how we are going to add these hurt and heal mechanics. Let's see. So in this case, I'm using mouse clicked. Okay, so if e dot get button equal to mouse event dot, button 1 is left click, button 2 is scroll click. If you see your mouse, there is a button under the scroll bar. So when you are scrolling your mouse, if you click it, there is a button under it, that is button 2, and right click is button 3. Why is it like that? Because it was designed from back in 2000s. In the 2000 era, we used to have a trackpad mouse. In the trackpad mouse, there will be a button in the middle to scroll. So nowadays we have scroll bar, we have a scroll wheel, but back then we used to have a button. So that was the button 2. Even today, the scroll wheel can be clicked. You can click the scroll wheel and you can see that is button 2 actually. Okay. So when I click button 1, I should see hurt and 10 damage. And when I else e dot get button equal to mouse event dot button 3, when I click button 3, that means right click, I should heal by 15. Okay, so when I hurt and heal, my health bar will go down and up automatically. So how does it look? How does it work? Let's see. Private void hurt int damage and private void heal int amount. Okay, so I'm going to take a value called private int player health. Actually, we have to create a class called player class. There we have stats like player health, player level, player attack, damage, defense, spells, XP, all those. So I'm just using this player health. Nice. Now I'll say player health equal to 1000. Okay, the player has 1000 health. Now is the problem. How am I going to show 1000 health in 250 width? You understand? This is my health bar. My health bar should show the health points. My health points are 1000. If I put player health here, it will be super large. Okay, let me show you. So player health is here. This is R1, this is R2. So if I use player health here, the problem is it will become super large. You can see it went through the window. So this is not the way to show a player health. So what is the proper way to show player health? The proper way to show player health is through math. So let's see how we can show player health through math. This is where maths is very important in game development. Listen carefully. We are going to take percentages. What I'm saying is 250 is the width of the rectangle. This is very important, so listen carefully. 250 is the width of the rectangle. That represents health. How much health? 1000 health. So when the width is 250, it represents 1000 health. When I get hurt, it will go down by 900, let's say. So how much is 900 here? How much width is 900 health? That is the question. So the question can be solved by multiplying this and dividing this and this. So let's take x. Okay, this is x, or let's say this is w. So how much is the width of the rectangle if your health is 900? How much is it? The answer is 250 into 900. The whole equation will be divided by the maximum health points. This is not 1000, this is maximum health points. If my health points is 1100, then it should be 1100 here as well. Okay, so what is the formula? The formula is W equal to rectangle dot width into player dot health by player dot max health. This is the formula for drawing the health bar on the window. You can do the same thing with mana bar, same thing with XP bar. If you have an XP bar, you say like this: W equal to rectangle dot width into player dot current XP by player dot max XP. Okay, max XP per level. So you should have a level graph which will say how much XP you need for level up. That will be the max XP. And current XP is how much XP you have right now. So that will be the amount of width that we are going to show on the screen. So let's put this equation and we'll see. So for this we need max health as well. So let's make this max health and health. Okay, so max health is 1000 and health equal to max health. Now what is this? This is the width, 250. This is the width. So I'm going to say it here like this: private int bar width. We can also make it final, it doesn't matter. Bar width equal to 250. So here I'll say like this: bar width into health by max health. Okay, now if I execute this, you will see nothing changed. It is just like that. What if I increase my max health to 10,000? It should be even bigger, right? No, everything is same. So how is this possible? How is this the same thing? So is it even updating? Let's see. Now when I say hurt, it should update my health. Health minus equal to damage. And if health goes below 0, less than equal to 0, then health equal to 0. Okay, and heal is nothing but increase amount, so increase health, and if it goes health greater than equal to max health, then health equal to max health. Done. So let's see. Let's click and see if we are actually getting down. No. Oh, I forgot to add the, yeah, I forgot to add it. Add mouse listener to this. Also, there is a check. We should be focused, or else the window should be in focus, or else it won't work. So it's a check. Set focusable true. So now the window is in focused. Now it will execute. Execute. Not executing. What's happening? Okay, let's paint it here. Let's see if it is working or not. Got hurt. And here, system out, got healed. I think it is working, but since we gave very small damage, so it is not showing up on the screen. Yeah, it is hot. It is working actually, but it is very small damage. So let's decrease the amount, health amount here. Let's make it 500. Okay, now let's see. 500 is hurt, but it is not decreasing. It is not decreasing. So what should we do? I guess we should also update it here. Right, we should actually update it here. I forgot to update this. R1.width. Let's put this formula bar width, or we can also just use 250. Yeah, we don't need this. That's 250. So I'm going to use that formula here, and instead of bar width I will say R1.width. Right? Oh, that was the black part. That shouldn't change. The black part shouldn't change, the red part should change. So R1.width, that is fine. This should change. Oh, it is updating. So you can see it is updating, and when I right click, it is going up, it is healing. So when I click here, it is going down. When I click here, it is going up. Okay, so this is happening because I said this. So the same thing we can do with our spells like max mana, max XP, like that. Okay, so we can do all of this just because we have this formula. The formula is this. If 250 is the width of the rectangle, and this represents max health, 1100 max health, then 900 health should be W. So W is, this is the formula. Okay, you can use this formula for showing any bar that you want to show on the screen. It will be exactly fixed to the width. So if you want to increase the width of the bar, you can also increase the width of the bar, but it will be showing the max health. So the width of the bar represents max health, and the max health represents width of the bar. This is how it is interdependent. Okay, nice. So we can do the same thing here, but as I said, we need this formula. So I need to change this to rectangle. Yeah, and R2.x, R2.y, R2.width into mana by max mana. Okay, and this is R2.height. So if I want to use mana, it is here, private int mana and max mana. Okay, health is here, mana will be around 100, and sorry, max mana is 100, and mana will be max mana. Nice. Now when I heal, okay, when I heal, it will go down, the mana will go down. Every time I heal, the mana must be going down, sorry, must be going down by 10. And if it goes down below 10, if mana less than equal to 0, mana equal to 0. This is how it is. So if I execute here, so if I right click, I am healing. You can see I'm getting hurt and I am healing. Mana is going down, and if it goes down, it is 0. It won't go beyond that. Okay, I'm still healing. I shouldn't heal. So what should I say? I should say here like this: if mana less than equal to 0, sorry, greater than 0, then all of this should happen. Else nothing will happen. So if I get hurt and heal myself little bit, and then got hurt again and heal myself again, and now got hurt, now I want to heal myself, but there is no mana. So as you can see, I'm clicking the button, but it is not working since no mana. So now we can have a mechanic to regenerate mana. Okay, so this is how we can we can show health bars, health, mana, XP, all these things. Okay, I hope I taught you something new. So thank you.